Hey, it's Julie. How is it going? I am so nice and tan. I just got back from Cancun, and it has been amazing to be relaxed amongst your bestest of friends. And as I was coming back, I was reading one of my favorite books, and I wanted to share it with you because it really had me thinking about how you can keep your team going. Okay, so how many of you have ever had somebody join your team and then they did absolutely nothing? Put a 1 in the comments. Or how many of you have ever had somebody join your team and they get going and they're motivated and they work it for a month and then they slowly disappear? If that's happened to you before, if you have lost a teammate because they've slowly disappeared or they didn't even start, can you put a 1 in the comments, right? Like, we get so excited. We have somebody join our team. We're hoping that this is going to change their life and it's going to change your life. And you are absolutely so excited to have this team member, and then they disappear. Okay, so if you know exactly what I'm talking about, put a 1 in the comments. If you're tuning in live, comment live. If you're watching the replay, make sure you press replay and where you're coming in from, okay? And then if you share this video, make sure you message share so that I can give you a shout out. All right, so here's my favorite book that I was just telling you about that I was reading. It's called The 5 Love Languages. How many of you have ever read The 5 Love Languages before? Put a 2 in the comments if you've read this book before. Now, it's one of my favorite books. Hey, Melissa, how are you? It is one of my favorite books that I use personally for my kids. I use it as a therapist when I'm working with couples. I use it as a book when I'm a therapist and I'm working with parents who are helping their adolescents. It's an amazing book, okay? So if you have not read The 5 Love Languages, I highly, highly, highly recommend this book. But this is where I'm coming from with the 5 love languages of your business, okay? It doesn't need to just be the 5 love languages. It's the 5 love languages of your team, okay? So the idea and the premise behind this book, for those of you that aren't familiar, is that there's a way that we build our love language to people, okay? And there's 5 different secrets. And what I started to realize are these secrets still are in hand with my team, right? Doesn't need to be with my husband. It can be with my team over here, okay? So let's talk about what are these 5 love languages that they talk about in this book, okay? And how does it relate to your team? And I have my cheat sheet notes over here, okay? The first love languages is words of affirmation, okay? And words of affirmation are positive comments that you can make to people. It's telling somebody how much you love them, how grateful you are for them, okay? So if you have a teammate, if you have somebody, right, that kind of lights, they feel really, really good when you give them some sort of compliment. You know that this is their love language, okay? So you're going to give them lots of shout outs. You're going to make them feel really good because you're speaking their love language over here. So let's say they get their first sale, or let's say they get a team member. You are going to shout them from the rooftops because that's their love language. That's how you're going to motivate them. Most people are not necessarily 100% motivated by money. You gotta find what lights a fuel under their belly. So somebody that likes words of affirmation, they want to be recognized. They want you to tell them how amazing you are, okay? You're gonna give them shout outs. You're gonna send them a private message and be like, hey girl, I've been watching you. You're on fire. You're doing amazing things. Share with me what you're doing. And you are going to be screaming about all of the amazingness that she has, okay? So if this is making sense to you, can you please drop a 3 in the comments that you understand about the words of affirmation? Now, the other love language that you can speak to people is gifts, okay? If you have a raffle, or if you're giving something off, or you're giving something away for free on your team, you will notice that there are the same people that are always driven to participate in this raffle or participate in this challenge over here. Most likely, their love language is gifts, okay? So if you know that somebody's love language or what motivates them in their business is gifts, guess what you're gonna do? You're gonna buy them little gifts. You're gonna send them just a little something and recognize their achievements by buying them gifts because you're speaking their love language. It's going to motivate them to be further and further and further ahead. Okay, so write gifts in the comment if you understand that gifts can be another love language that you're speaking to somebody. Okay, now quality time. Okay, these are the people that you have. Quality time is another love language, and personally, that's my love language. I feel love when people want to spend time with me. Okay, I'm like the most social person you could possibly imagine, and so my love language, I know my husband's loving all over me because we spend quality time together. I know that my upline is loving all over me when she shows me time, when she gets back to me. Okay, when she is on top of it, she's spending time, she's working with me. That's my love language, okay? How are you going to know if somebody on your team has a love language of quality time? You're going to know because they're asking you a lot of questions. They want to spend time with you, okay? That's their love language. So it might seem like it's a time suck to you, but it's really not a time suck because you're speaking their language over here. So I can tell you firsthand, like, that's me, hands down. I love quality time. I know that I feel, valued and appreciated when somebody is spending their time with me. It's not necessarily gifts. I like gifts, don't get me wrong, but I really love quality time. Okay, now, another love language is touch. Okay, now that's really hard because for me, I build a business online. I do not build my business offline. However, for those of you that build a business offline, touch is a little bit easier, right? It is physical touch. It's giving them a hug. It's giving them a pat on the back. It's, it's being present, with your spouse or your significant other. It's holding their hand. It's literally physical touch. So what can you do if you're building a business online? Okay. Tell them, I'm sending you a hug right now. You are doing amazing things. High five, like, let me give you a virtual hug. And you can do all of those things. Touch is going to be the hardest one if you're building online, hands down. I'm like picking my brain over here. And the way that I can do it is like, how can I help somebody that's love language is touch if they're on my team? Well, chances are there's probably one or two other love languages that they have. But if it is touch, do some Zooms, do some Skypes, get in there with them face to face and like virtually like high five them, whatever it takes, okay? So if that makes sense, that you understand that one of the other 4 love languages is touch, put touch in the comments. And then what I need you to do is I need you to share this video because you need to share it with your upline and you need to let them know what is your love language so that they can speak it because it's going to motivate you. And then you're going to send this to your team because your team is you're going to do a comment. You're going to say, write your love language below. And that's going to give you an idea of who you're speaking to. Okay. Now the final, and this is one for my good friend Melissa over here. She's on my team. And I can tell you hands down over here, Melissa, I think you're watching, acts of service. Okay. Acts of service are just doing nice things for someone because you love them and you just want to give them an act of service. I can't even tell you how many times Melissa sends me something and is like, here, you need this, go ahead and do it. And it's just a little something that she's put together for me because that's her love language. Her love language is acts of service, okay? So what do I need to do for Melissa? Guess what? If I want to speak Melissa's love language over there, I got to do acts of service. And I'm going to be honest, I don't do it enough, but knowing that it's her love language, knowing that she's on my team, I need to give her little acts of service, whether that means like making cute little bags for her to pass out, or whether that means just, being there and knowing that she can bounce ideas off of me. Those are acts of service, okay? And so knowing what your team's love language is, you are going to be able to motivate them. You are going to be able to keep them going. You are going to be able to drive them because it's not just about the money. It's not just about the financial freedom, okay? You need to know their why. You need to know why they're doing all of those things. And then you need to be sending them their love language. And their love language is different than your love language. So just because I'm speaking my love language doesn't mean I'm hitting on my team's points, okay? So if that makes sense, can you please put a heart in the comments below that this is making sense to you, okay? So let me reiterate, the 5 love languages, and it's not your love language, it's the love language of your teammates, is words of affirmation, gifts, quality time, touch, and acts of service. Knowing where they fall, that's where you're going to speak to them, okay? You can ask them flat out. So many people have read this book, and if they haven't read that book, share this video with them and say, hey, which one are you? Just trying to figure out over here, which one are you? And then you know where you need to go, where you need to lead. And a lot of times they're gonna leave clues. Like I said, when I do a giveaway for my team, like sell X amount in the next week and you'll be entered to win something, it is always the same people that enter over and over and over again. And I know that their love language is gifts, okay? So I better start sending them little gifts. And it doesn't have to be anything major, but I know that I'm speaking their love language over here, okay? So knowing that book, and I can't find my book, otherwise I would show it to you. And I will, what I'll do is I'll screenshot the book for you guys to see. I'll put it in the comments over here. It's an amazing book. They have love language for children. They have love languages for teenagers. They have love languages that help you with your marriage. But it's all the same premise, and it can totally work for your team and how you can get those people on your team motivated to work their business, okay? So if this has been helpful for you on how to motivate your team, can you hashtag value in the comments so that I know that this was helpful, because I'm trying to put together some trainings on how to get your team motivated, how to keep them going. Because what I find is people get so excited, they start, and then they start to trickle down as they start to hear those no's, or they start to lose their steam and stuff. And so I'm trying to come up with some ways that you guys can help motivate your teams to keep them going. And I really think that if you're speaking their love language, you're going to have greater success, okay? Make sure you share this video. Once you press share, make sure you share it. And I gotta be honest, I have a feeling that my team, how to motivate your team, how to grow your team, is a training that I'm only going to be doing in my VIP group that's free. So if you want to be part of the group, message group in the comments, and I will make sure that you get the link to my group. But I hope that this was helpful. Alrighty, guys, have a great day, and make sure you start doing a little bit of investigating to see what your teammates' love language is. Have a great one. Bye.